Okay, so ready to dive into this le roman du roman.
The novel of the novel.
Yeah, that's the one. You shared some documents about it, and
Let me try it.
honestly, this whole thing, it's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It really is,
We're
Debbie.
talking about a novel that's basically a writing experiment using AI.
Yeah, and what's really wild is that the author, Kiri Kruse,
Thierry Crouzet.
yeah, he's using AI to analyze his novel, like, before it's even finished.
Oh, hold on.
Like, can you imagine?
Before it's even finished, so it's not even a book yet.
Yeah.
It's just like notes and...
It's like a manuscript.
Okay.
He's got the AI creating summaries and marketing blurbs.
Yeah, you said there was like a...
It's like
Wes
getting
Craven.
feedback from a computer before
Yeah.
you've even written the ending.
It's like he's saying, okay, AI, you think you can be a critic? Let's see what you've got.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And it's not just gentle feedback either, right? Like you said, there was even a scathing review in there.
Oh, absolutely. It's brutal. The AI pulls no punches.
Mhm.
But, here's where it gets really interesting. Creuset is fixated on this idea of gélissement.
Gélissement.
Yeah, this sudden burst of creative energy.
Okay.
He keeps using the AI to figure out if that's something unique to human writers or if AI could ever,
Replicate it.
replicate it.
So it's like he's using AI to figure out if there's still something special about writing a story, something human. Tell me more about the gélissement. It sounds pretty intense.
It's a great word. He describes it as this almost mystical spark that fuels, true creativity. Think of those moments when an idea just kind of comes out of nowhere, or when you suddenly find the perfect words to express something profound. That's gélissement.
Interesting.
And Creuset seems to think it's the key to why humans still matter in a world.
In a world of AI.
Yes, exactly.
So this is all happening within the book, right? Like the actual plot of the book.
Yes.
So we've got two timelines going on here.
Yes. So we're in 2024.
Okay.
We meet Thierry, our writer. He's grappling with his wife's illness and struggling with the rise of AI in the literary world. And he decides to document his creative process. Like he's trying to capture that gélissement in action.
To capture that spark. Okay, I'm already hooked, but it gets even wilder, right? There's another timeline too.
Yes. Fast forward to 2352. We're in a post-climate change world.
Oh, wow.
And archaeologists stumble upon Thierry's manuscript. They become completely absorbed by his story. They're blurring the lines between their reality and the fictional world that he created centuries earlier.
Whoa, so it's a story within a story, all wrapped up in this meta commentary on AI and creativity. It's giving me some serious Inception vibes.
That's a great comparison. Creuset seems to be exploring whether stories can transcend time and even reality itself. And with the AI analysis in the mix, it's a hall of mirrors.
Oh, yeah.
It's reflecting the act of writing, the experience of reading, of interpreting a story.
So meta. Okay, let's get back to the AI's take on the book. You mentioned that it laid out reasons for and against publishing it. That's brutal honesty. Like, imagine...
It's like having a supercomputer as your editor.
Yeah, and it's saying, don't publish this.
Yeah, well, it does point to the novel's originality and exploration of AI as strong points.
Okay, so there's some good.
It suggests that it could really resonate with readers interested in, AI,
Yeah.
those themes. But it also calls out the book's complexity. Warns that it might be too niche
Out there.
for a wider audience, yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword, praising the novel, but also pointing out potential drawbacks. Did it have anything to say about the content, like the actual story?
It did.
Oh, wow.
The AI even took a stab at writing the back of the book blurb,
No way.
highlighting the dual timelines, the mystery surrounding Thierry's wife,
Yeah.
and of course, gélissement.
Of course.
But then
No.
it delivers this incredibly harsh review.
Oh, no. It's like he asked the AI to unleash its inner critic. What did it say?
It argues that the novel's complexity, while intriguing, could actually work against it.
Against it, how?
Like, it suggests that the multiple timelines and the philosophical exploration of gélissement,
Yeah.
it could end up feeling convoluted,
Right.
and it might lose the reader in the process.
Oh, so it's saying it's too much.
It might be too much.
Yeah. It's like he's going head-to-head with his own worst critic.
Right.
And the critic is a computer program. It makes you wonder, did he secretly hope it would tear it apart?
That's a great question. It's
Yeah.
like he's testing the limits of his own writing
Yeah.
and the AI's ability to really understand.
A complex novel.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And as if that wasn't enough, he then asks the AI to place le roman du roman, within the context of other, like, metafictional works.
Metafictional.
Yes.
Okay.
Comparing it to classics like If on a Winter's Night, A Traveler,
Oh, wow.
and even Don Quixote.
Okay, now that's what I call ambitious. So he's creating a whole family tree for this thing
I know, right?
before it's even out in the world.
Exactly.
What kind of connections did the AI make?
Well, it's fascinating, actually. The AI points out how, like, Don Quixote
Quixote.
and Little Momo de Roman,
Okay.
they both blur the lines between reality and fiction.
Right.
And they're challenging us, the reader, to question.
Our perceptions of what we're reading.
Exactly.
So both novels are playing with our sense of what's real and what's imagined.
Yes.
And they both feature characters who are deeply invested in stories themselves.
Yes.
Like Don Quixote has his romances.
And Thierry is obsessed with J.D. Small.
Exactly. And I think that speaks to a larger point about, like, why metafiction as a genre endures.
Why into it?
Yeah, and I think it's because these stories remind us that storytelling itself is a powerful force, a way of making sense of the world around us.
Making sense of the world.
Yes, and exploring what it means to be human.
And especially now,
Right.
in a world where technology is constantly evolving,
Yes.
that human element feels even more important.
More important than ever. Yeah. I have to admit, though, the idea of an AI comparing books to, like, the classics,
I know.
it makes me wonder if our definition of literature needs an update, too.
That's a really insightful point.
Ugh.
I mean, Cruzet's use of AI,
Yeah.
it really adds a whole new dimension to what metafiction can be.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what will this genre look like in an age of AI-generated content and,
Virtual reality.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Are we already living in a metafictional world without even realizing it?
Whoa.
Whoa, that's a mind-blowing thought.
Yeah.
It's like we're all characters in some giant simulation.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm really starting to feel those Matrix vibes.
I'll let you ponder that one. But you hit on something really important. As technology blurs the lines between, like, reality and simulation,
Right.
our understanding of what's real, what's fiction, and what's meta
Yeah.
might need a serious rethink.
It's like we're living in a world where reality itself is becoming increasingly meta. Okay, but let's bring it back to the AI's analysis. There was a part where it talked about the decline of reading.
Yeah.
Right. That feels particularly relevant in today's world.
Yes. And it's interesting how Cruzet doesn't shy away from this potentially uncomfortable truth.
Like nobody's reading anymore.
The AI suggests that in a world saturated with information.
Yeah, we're on information overload.
I know, and endless entertainment options.
Yeah.
Holding a reader's attention, making them feel something, is more challenging than ever.
It's like that saying, so many books, so little time.
That's a great one.
But even with all the distractions, there's still something magical about getting lost in a good book.
Absolutely. I think that's what Cruzet is trying to tap into
With this whole...
J. Small thing.
Okay.
It's not just about a writer having a flash of inspiration. It's about the reader.
The reader feeling it.
Feeling that spark, too. That moment of connection, of shared humanity.
That only a truly great story can evoke.
Exactly.
It's like that feeling you get when you finish a book and you just want to press it into someone else's hands and say, you have to read this. Exactly. And that's why I think Cruzet's experiment with AI is so compelling.
It's so interesting.
He's not just exploring the future of writing. He's exploring the future of reading.
Wow.
And the power of stories in a world increasingly dominated by technology.
So even if AI can write a novel, it's the human connection that makes it meaningful.
Yes.
That shared experience between writer and reader.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that brings us to like a really crucial question. If AI can analyze, critique, and even generate literature, what does that mean for us, the readers?
Are we just going to become passive consumers of AI-curated content? Or is there another way?
Well, that's what's so interesting. Cruzet seems to think it's the latter.
Okay.
Remember how we were talking about how he had the AI analyze his book like an academic paper? Well, in that analysis, the AI actually calls literature the last bastion of humanity.
The last bastion of humanity.
Yeah.
So it's like even the AI sees something special about it.
Yes, exactly. The AI even points out that while it can, process information and even mimic certain aspects of writing, it can't replicate the depth of human experience.
That fuels truly great literature.
Yes.
Right.
It's those messy, complicated emotions, our unique perspectives, our individual interpretations.
That's what makes it interesting.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what gives the stories their power.
And it's that shared experience, that connection
Yes.
when we read a story that resonates with us.
Yes.
That makes literature so important.
It is.
It's like a bridge between minds.
Beautifully put.
Mm.
It makes you wonder if an AI can recognize the power of human connection like that.
Right.
Can it ever truly replicate it?
I mean, it can write a love letter, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe even like a halfway decent poem.
Sure.
But can it pour its heart out on the page, like after
Yeah.
a devastating loss? Or capture the pure joy of a child, like discovering something for the first time?
I think that's where généré comes in.
That's where the human part comes in.
Yeah. It's that spark, something real,
Yeah.
something personal, that shines through in great art, regardless of the form.
Yeah.
And this actually brings me to a point I thought was really interesting that you pointed out.
Mm-hmm.
You highlighted how Creuset uses the AI to compare his book not just to Don Quixote,
Okay.
but to If on a Winter's Night, a Traveler by Italo Calvino.
Oh, yes. That's one of my favorite books. It's so clever.
It is so clever.
It's like a puzzle box of a novel.
It is.
Constantly breaking the fourth wall and playing with the reader's expectations.
Holy.
So how did the AI connect that to Le Moment du Roman?
Well, it pointed out how both novels challenge like these traditional narrative structures
Right.
and directly engage with the reader.
Mhm.
And they're blurring the lines between fiction and reality.
Right. So metafiction.
Exactly. But here's what I found really thought-provoking.
What's that?
The AI suggested that in a world that's like increasingly mediated by technology.
Oh, this AI stuff.
I
Like
call-
right now.
Yes, exactly. That kind of metafictional playfulness might actually become even more important.
Even more important.
Yeah, it's like Creuset is anticipating a future where the lines between the real and the virtual are so blurred
Oh, wow.
that we need literature to help us make sense of it all.
It's like he's saying, hold on to your hats, folks, because reality is about to get a whole lot weirder, and we need stories to help us navigate it.
Yes. Okay, I love that.
And maybe that's the most exciting takeaway from all of this.
What's that?
Cruzet's not afraid of AI.
Yeah.
He's embracing it as a tool.
As a collaborator almost.
Yes. He's using it to push the boundaries of storytelling
Yeah.
and challenge our assumptions about what literature can be.
It's like he's saying, okay, AI, you can analyze my work, you can critique it, you can even try to imitate it,
Right.
but you can't replace the human heart at the center of every story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a message I think worth remembering.
Yes, no matter how advanced technology becomes.
Yeah.
As we've been talking about in this deep dive, the future of storytelling, it's not about choosing sides.
Between humans and AI.
Exactly. It's about finding ways for those forces to coexist,
To work together.
to challenge each other, to
Okay.
inspire each other, to create something new and unexpected and deeply human.
It's about embracing that gélassement,
Yes,
that spark.
that spark of creative energy.
Yes, and using it to tell stories that connect us.
Exactly.
That move us and
Yeah.
remind us of what it means to be human and alive in this crazy world that's constantly changing.
Beautifully said.
Oh.
On that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Aww.
But this conversation about AI and creativity,
The future of storytelling.
it's far from over.
So, to our listeners out there, thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
And remember, if you had an AI writing partner,
Ooh, that's a good one.
what stories would you tell? What possibilities would you explore?
I love it.
And what would you do to make sure that your own unique voice, your own gélisme, shines through?
Keep those creative sparks flying.
Until next time.